All right, so today we'll be doing some examples of how powerful space and just pawn mass in the center and yeah, how bad that can affect your opponent's mobility and win you easy games. So let's start with this example. We have knight f3, knight f6, d4, d5, c4, dc4. So obviously Queen's Gambit accepted, but this game will showcase the risk you're running when you're giving up the center like that with d takes c4. I'm obviously not saying it's bad. It's a very common opening, but this will be a very good example of what can happen if you're not careful with black here. So bishop g7, castles, castles, everything normal so far. Queen e2, and now a pretty weird maneuver with knight fd7. It does have a point. It wants to open this bishop up, also discomfort this bishop after knight b6, maybe prepare e5 at some point, but obviously what you would want to start developing the rest of your pieces before engaging in this this maneuver. So we have rook d1, a very nice move. The point of it is, as I was saying, one of black's points was playing e5 or c5 to undermine the center, and after rook d1, both of those moves become very hard to achieve because the white rook is spinning the black knight. So rook d1, very nice move. Also obviously develops piece. So black now goes knight b6. We obviously keep the bishop pair. This is an open position, and it's very important to have the bishop pair. If you can just keep it without any concessions, why not? So knight c6, a4, very common. You're basically kind of embarrassing the black knight. You will see this very common theme time and time again, where let's say I'll just make some random moves. This usually against the knight on b6 or the knight on g6 or g3, b3. This construction is very annoying for the piece here to deal with, because I am threatening to push, and that yeah, you basically just have to go back, and I gain space, and yeah, it's very uncomfortable for the for that knight. So after a4, black stops that with a5. We go h3, just create some luft, and also now it's hard for the black bishop to find a nice square, because bishop f5 just runs into e4, g4 is now taken. You never want to play bishop e6, and bishop d7 just makes your pieces be awkward. But also, if you look at this position now, it's kind of hard to find moves for black, right? So I'm really not sure what black could try here. It already looks pretty bad. I guess something like queen e8 with the point of going e5 maybe, but also I can just push d5 and after e5, and that's also uncomfortable. So I don't know. It just looks very bad for black already, because of white's controlling the center. So after bishop d7, we had, sorry. So after bishop d7, now what do we want to do here as white? Knight c3, obviously just developing, pretty normal, pretty standard. But also now we can take the opportunity to play e4, because now this d4 pawn is not hanging anymore, because of bishop d7. And now you can see that it becomes pretty awkward for black. I will push d5. I will push e5. This is like the only good piece you had, and now it will become yeah, not very good at all. So let's see what happens after e4, queen e8. It's a bad move, but once again, in bad positions, you tend to make bad moves because yeah, it's not like you have so many good things to do here. So he's just tried queen e8. Sorry?
Can I ask maybe what happens if black plays e5 on that move?
e5 here?
Yeah.
All right, well, we can look at it. So let's see. I mean, it's probably just better than queen e8, but let me see how I would try to respond. So you can always throw in bishop g5, I guess, but I kind of want your queen there, so I won't hurry with that. Yeah, I don't know. I guess something like maybe takes and bishop f4 just to keep making life awkward, but obviously that's less convincing than the game. So I mean, I don't know if I should take or push d5. I guess both are fine. But yeah, what do we want to play against d5? I guess knight d4, right?
Yeah, that was the idea.
Yeah, so I'll most likely take. I'm just wondering if I should throw in bishop g5 before d5 or not.
Can I maybe g5 now? I might be able to play f6 too.
No, well, I'm not playing bishop g5 now. My queen is hanging with check, so, and also my bishop would be hanging. But I'm wondering if it here. No, okay. But so let's say, okay, let's just take the simple option. So I will take and play some bishop f4. Oh no, actually I'm hanging b2. All right, I'll just take and play knight c3, the most straightforward way. I like it. It's still like bad for black. So I don't know. So queen e7, bishop f4. You don't really have an active plan. You're not losing, obviously, as after queen e8, which is obviously just a bad move. But yeah, you're not enjoying life here either. So
no, of course, yeah. I just thought you might want to challenge the center, like.
Yeah, it's obviously e5 is a better move than queen e8, but queen e8 was played with the same intention, obviously, but it's just too bad here because after queen e8, we get bishop e3, and now e5 becomes sort of awkward because you're allowing bishop takes b6 always after takes, and also you can't really put your knight on d4 anymore, right? So this is just hanging now. So I wouldn't be so concerned about bishop b6 as I would be with the fact that now black's knight has to go somewhere, let's say b4. Yeah, so let's say knight b4, knight c3, and the only source of counterplay would be f5, but you do need to be careful about this this diagonal. So I'm not sure you can even do that because of d6 and takes. So yeah, now after bishop e3, not even e5 is an option anymore, which is pretty bad. So bishop e3, knight b4. Black is trying to do something, some c5 at some point, but nothing really works here. This is just grim. Simple play, knight c3, queen back to d8. Obviously, just horrible. But once again, now, so before he had the option of e5. Now it's just he's just running out of moves, so he's just waiting around. But yeah. Also hard to suggest a good move, right? Like, what do you play here? F5? Oh no, that's pinned, so that you can't even do that. Yeah, so that this just yeah, very bad position. Queen d8, And now we can start pushing. So now I guess the rook could be on c1, but the rook also is protecting on the a4, and all the other pieces are on the perfect squares. So yeah, let's start with d5, rook c8, e5. Yeah, black is just getting run over basically. Knight a6.
And what if c6 in this move, maybe?
c6 here?
On the previous move?
On the previous move here. Sorry. Here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, so do you want to take with the bishop on... Oh, you want to take with the b pawn?
No, with the knight.
Oh, with the knight, all right. Well, let's see. So, all right, I mean, the first thing I'm seeing is in that line, I have queen b5, which is a bit awkward to meet because of the hanging knight on b6.
Okay.
But also, am I not... Let me think a bit. Oh, sorry, yeah, so doesn't d takes c6 just win? Because of bishop b6 and rook d7, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess the bishop on b3 is hanging as well, but you can probably get around that. Like, I don't know, even some slow move, like you obviously have bishop takes b6. So, but I would not be so keen to do this. I'm talking about this, right? So if I take on d7, you take on b3, but I would not be so keen to do these either. Although it does win a pawn. Now black's pieces still start to sort of make sense, right? Now that he has these powerful bishops, the rooks are eyeing the f2 pawn. Knight d4 is an idea at some point. So although we do win a pawn in this line, it's just way easier to just make black suffer here forever, right? So to be honest, I'm not even sure I have to respond to that c6. There's probably some win here that I'm missing, but even if I just stay, right? What are you going to do? You like d5 is not hanging, so yeah, probably just stay.
I was just asking. I thought still undermining the center must be.
Yeah, you obviously have to try
chance.
something, but even okay, let's say I take and play some. So even queen b5 here, what is the response? I guess knight d4 is a problem, right?
I was hoping for some knight jump.
Yeah, knight d4 is a problem.
All right. You can take on b6, I think.
Well, no, because b3 is hanging, right?
No, you can play queen d5, knight d4, queen b6.
Well, you'll take with the queen, no? Knight d4 is blocking, so I can't do that.
Yeah, never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, so I don't know. Even some bishop a2 is very, very awkward to me, right? Because I reestablished the threat of bishop takes b6. And like, what are you going to do? You're not going to play knight c8, or it's just awkward, right? Probably knight c8, right? Because I really don't see another move. Rook a6. But you see my point, right? Is rook a6? Yeah. So I guess so. You have some sort of weird move. White just has easier play, but yeah, it's obviously better than doing nothing, which black is doing right now. So yeah, d5, rook c8. Probably c6 was better, as you mentioned. E5, knight a6, and now e6. White just breaks through. And after e6, we got bishop e8. And now we just cash in, right? It's time to in this position, some tactics should show up, right? So what's the point after bishop takes and c takes? Can you spot it? Anybody?
I don't see it. I was trying to make d6 work, but I can't find anything.
What's wrong with d6?
Well, e takes, f takes e.
F takes e. I see. But we do have a bishop on b3, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you just win an exchange. Is that good enough?
I think we win a bit more than that. So I don't know. Let's say
if he takes, can we go e7?
yeah, if he takes, we go e7. Yeah, but he's talking about fe. So and obviously the bishop takes e6 does win an exchange. But my gut feeling is that we win much more than that. So the line I'm seeing is f takes e, bishop takes e6, and now after bishop f7, even knight g5 is pretty nice. But also, like, even just taking the rook, it's not like it's just an exchange, right?
Victor, I don't think so. I think after 1d6, f takes e6, d takes e7 is your move too.
Right, but that's the same as winning the exchange, right? Because you get queen takes e7, and after queen takes e6 and the exchange, you play bishop f7, so you don't win the whole rook.
I think mine is a whole rook, not the exchange. Oh, because of bishop f7.
Yeah, how do you win a whole rook?
Oh yeah, all right.
Yeah, so but what I'm saying is after f takes e, if we just play bishop takes, so let me show it.
Yeah.
After bishop takes, we can, if after bishop f7 we can play knight. I like knight g5, but also even just even just playing like the simplest chess, it's not just an exchange, right? It's a pawn on e7. Although yeah, you could make the argument that maybe it's not enough here for white, but it's, if we're honest, this should win in.
Can I just go back to the position for a few more seconds?
Yeah. So yeah, so let's see. d6, f takes c. Do we see anything better than bishop takes and just taking everything? Oh. Yeah, that's pretty, if it works. Let me just double check. Yeah, so I think I have it. So I guess the point is, like, but I hope I'm not missing anything. I think this works here. The point being that obviously if you take on e6, I take, which I can take the queen. So the critical line is queen takes d1, right? And now rook takes d1. he has to take the queen. And now if you play rook f7, I will play rook d8 check followed by queen. And if you just move the king, I will take this rook. And now I also have this. So does everybody understand? So after f takes c, we have queen takes c6. Now, obviously, if you just go back with the king, I take on e7 with the pawn, and everything is hanging. If you play bishop f7, we just have d takes e7. And yeah, this just wins on the spot because of the forced line I just showed. Agreed?
Yep.
All right. Yes, and in fact, after d6, black just resigned. D7 is a threat, and d takes e7 followed by e takes f7 is a threat, winning the queen. And yeah, after f he loses. After d ed he loses. So everything just loses. So this was obviously just very poorly played by black. But this game does showcase a point, right? That if you're not careful for a few moves in the center, you can just get run over. So let's now see a game, which is one of my favorites actually. And it's a pretty weird one. I'm not gonna lie. So let me know what you think about it. So let's see e4, c5, b4. The wing gambit in the Sicilian. C takes b4, a3, knight takes c6, knight c6, a takes b4, and now knight f6. I actually played this line as white, but from a different move order, and it's pretty yeah, it can be pretty dangerous if you don't know your stuff here as black. So knight f6, b5, knight b8, e5, knight d5. Oh, sorry, yeah, no, sorry, e5, queen c7. So what is black's point? Why is he hanging the knight on f6?
You win the A run rook with check back.
Yeah, exactly. So if I take queen e5, just picks up the rook on a1. So after queen c7, d4, knight d5, c4. So, and if you pay attention, actually up until this point, white hasn't moved any pieces, which is usually not what you want to have in the opening. But yeah, this time he has obviously a concrete reason. So knight b6, and what are you thinking here? Do you see any interesting continuation for white? Aloysius?
Yep.
Do you see a win
I think
for white?
c5 and b6 looks pretty strong.
All right, and what's your point after queen d8?
After queen d8, then I I want a pawn. Yay!
Yeah, probably not.
Let's see if I can win slightly more than that. This is quite a strange opening. Where is White's development?
I mean, it doesn't really matter if you win, does it?
The moral
Yeah, it's-
victory goes to the developed the most.
Yeah, no, it's funny because black moved only pieces and white moved only pawns, except for obviously c5 in the opening. All right, so for everybody, we're looking at c5, knight d5, b6, queen d8. Now, why doesn't rook takes a7 just win on the spot? I'm threatening to take the rook, right? And,
It
Yeah.
does win on the spot, doesn't it?
well, does it?
So rook takes a7, rook takes a7, b takes a7. Oh, and then
Queen,
there's queen a5.
Yeah, there's queen a5 in that position, right? And then we're probably, if we don't have an immediate reply there, we're probably going to be worse, right?
Yeah.
So do we have an immediate response there?
Where did you put your knight after c5?
Well, there's only one square, right?
So okay, then c5, knight d5. Doesn't quite work. I was trying to make bishop c4 work, and some magic on f7, but just doesn't work.
No, think about the line I just talked about, right? So c5, knight d5, b6, queen d8. Rook takes a7, rook takes a7, b takes a7. Can anybody see that? Can everybody see that position?
Yeah.
Right. And in that position, there is queen a5 check. Now, do we just have to look for something else here, like play something like queen b3 and?
Oh,
Or
do we have like? Do we have No, maybe not. I thought we might have knight c3, but I don't think it works.
All right. Well, let's think about it. So knight c3.
I thought black could just take with the knight or the queen.
Right.
Or if queen takes, we have bishop d2.
Yeah, and then we'll queen, right?
Yeah, but I thought knight takes might be just winning.
All right. So
black.
knight takes. I will take on b8 and make a queen, right?
Ah, okay. Yeah, I forgot that you could capture the knight. Okay.
Right.
And then
okay. Well, is that the end of the line? So black will take our queen with check.
Yeah, recaptures. Probably black has to then play like queen d8, I guess, or king d8.
Well, hold on. He captured our queen with check. So what do we do?
Yeah. King takes d1, I think, has to be played now.
Well, yes and no. So yeah, that is the line. That is well spotted. So c5, knight d5, b6. White just continues to move only pawns. Now queen c6 just loses to rook takes a7 because there's no queen a5 check there. So rook takes, b takes, and if you go into this line without seeing that there is knight c3 here, so if you have to play just something like bishop d2, you're just in a horrible position here. Your position is full of holes. You're underdeveloped. Black is much better here, I would say, and this is just a monster piece. But there is knight c3 here, which is a very, very beautiful move. And obviously, if queen takes a7, we just pick up the knight. If queen takes c3, we have bishop d2, and this will queen. So knight takes c3 is the only line. And now we take on b8, queen, he takes, and now,
right. Queen takes first. Okay.
yeah, and now this you don't want to do, right? Because now you're giving the opportunity for some checks, some annoyance here, but bishop d2 is very powerful because you're basically forcing queen d8 in this position, right? And then after queen d8, you just pick up that knight on d1 and you're up a piece. So yeah, this is I find this very funny and somehow counterintuitive that white can just move only pawns in the opening and be winning. So yeah, fun little game here, and yeah, this is very beautiful. Obviously, knight c3, very nice move. All right, let's see another one. Let's see a game from a game of Larsen against Spassky in Belgrade, 1970. So b3, e5, bishop b2, knight c6, c4, knight f6, knight f3, e4, knight d4, bishop c5. Just stop me at any point if you don't understand something in the opening. Knight c6, dc6, e3, bishop f5, queen c2, queen e7, knight e2, oh, so sorry, bishop e2, long castles, and f4. All right, so first question is why did white play f4? So what was like white afraid of? Why doesn't he just continue development with knight c3 or castles? Why the need for f4?
Gain some space, I guess, to then start something on the king side, because otherwise it's not clear where the play is coming from.
Yeah, true in some sense, but also not like you're probably long term. Your plan is probably to expand on the king side because you're not going to want to castle king side here, right? Probably you're not going to be able to create an attack against the black king. So whereas white for black is just easier. But one of the important things here is besides the space, you're taking this square away from the black knight, where he would very much like to land at some point. So let's say knight c3 and a move like knight d7 or knight g4. Let's say knight d7 and castles knight e5. It's pretty awkward to meet the threat of knight d3, right? So you're probably going to have to give up a bishop for that, whether it's the black square bishop or the white square bishop, and you don't really want to do that, right? So obviously you gain space in the center, and you can expand on the king side later, which is one plus, but the other plus is just take the square away from the black knight. So now let's switch up the point of view a bit. You're in this position with black. White just played f4, and now the only other developing move you can do is probably just rook he1, right? But most likely you don't really need that rook on a1 at this point, so I guess you could double on the d file if you really wanted to finish development. But you're pretty much developed, right? So how do you start some active play here as white, as black? Because you're basically fully developed, right? And so after you fully develop your pieces, you can start active play.
I thought maybe G5 was some idea,
All right, point being.
but no, I disagree. No, it's useless actually.
Yeah, I mean, not really useless. It does lose an exchange.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. Maybe like yeah.
Knight G4.
Knight G4, interesting. Why?
I'm trying to see whether I have some tricks with like Queen H4 later,
Right, another idea.
or whether I can go via F2 to E3 with the knight at some point.
Right, and another idea of Knight G4.
Sacrificing on E3.
Exactly. So Knight G4, very nice. And yeah, as he said, he has multiple points, right? So if at any point, so the first problem, White can't really kick the knight out of here, right? Always we have Queen H4 and the game ends. So that's the first thing. The second thing is White will never be able to long castle now without huge amounts of preparation, because whenever he long castles, we have knight f2, forking the rook on h1 and the rook that will be on d1, right? So he can't castle and he can't kick the knight out of there. He obviously doesn't want to give up his light square bishop, because then this d3 square will be just a huge weakness in the position. And he always now has to watch out for tricks like bishop e3. Does bishop e3 work? Does queen h4 work? So knight g4 is just a very annoying move that just targets all of Black's weaknesses here. So yeah, all of White's weaknesses. So very nice move, knight g4, played by Spassky. Yeah. So now White plays g3. What's the point of g3? Why does White play g3? Instead
Takes
of,
away the Queen H4 ideas.
exactly, and now he is threatening h3, right? Because after h3 we can't play Queen H4 anymore, and yeah, that kingside expansion that we talked about with H3 G4 might become a real problem here. So what do we do here? How do we stop that, or can we stop that?
Maybe positional exchange sacrifices with rook d3.
Rook d3. All right. Well, so the first thing you need to consider, because I see this mistake every time. Even if you put so you're making a sacrifice, right? You're putting your bishop on pre, or your rook, or even your queen. The first thing you have to think about is that your opponent is not forced to take, right? So with rook d3, you're not really stopping White's idea of h3 and g4.
No, but then I'm definitely taking on d3 with something. On e3 with something.
On e3 with something. All right. So how does your rook on d3 help that? Because what piece do you want to end up on e3 after you capture? Do you want your knights to be there, or your rook, or your bishop? So what would you want to have on e3 at the end of the sacrifice?
I think actually. I
So
think-
by elimination, probably not the bishop, right? Because the bishop is
No.
not really doing anything there.
but
Um,
it could be
And we
annoying.
can kind of say the same thing about the rook, right? The rook on e3 is just threatening bishop g4, but we can easily sidestep that with king f1. Probably nothing is going to happen, or even king d1, depending on if you sacrifice the rook or not. So obviously the most powerful and the most threatening thing to have on e3 is the knight, with an immediate threat against the queen with some knight g2 ideas. And we can do that without the rook on d3. And you run the risk of after you sacrifice on e3, if you don't take with the rook, after white moves the queen or something, that room will be hanging as well, right? And then you're down to much material. And also, I'm not quite sure he can't just take on d3. I didn't say there's a problem with taking on d3. I'm just saying that you're probably not. He doesn't have to, but even taking on d3 and queen d1 probably. Although I do see the compensation. You do certainly have compensation in that position on the white squares. Probably even enough compensation. My concern would be that after rook d3, h3, you're not really in time to do anything, because now you can't even get your knights to b2 e3, right? So are you sacrificing the rook, or?
I don't know what happens if knight takes now.
Yeah, knight takes, I think.
No, rook takes.
Yeah, rook takes some move.
Some move, and there's just nothing here. That would be sad.
Yeah, and knight d1 probably next move, also g4. So yeah, you wouldn't really be happy to see this. So all right, we can't stop it by rook d3. Any other ideas? It's not an easy thing to spot, so don't feel discouraged. It's pretty hard. All right, I will show it because it's once again.
Sorry, I said something I didn't realize I was on mute. Can we play knight f6 and then h5?
All right, h5 and knight f6, so a combination of those.
Yeah, knight f6 first, I think, but I guess it doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter, but yeah, Spassky started with h5, but not with the idea of going back with the knight here. So with this hint in mind, can you see what else he could do here? Do remember that at this point, these pieces here are not really contributing to the game. So if something were to happen here, these pieces wouldn't really be helping in any way, right?
Maybe like some idea of like queen e6, hoping to get the queen into g4 if the bishops get traded, or if the bishops don't get traded, then the bishop, assuming that white takes the knight, for example.
All right,
the
so
bishops
you're
don't-
sacrificing the knight on g4, right?
Yeah, with the idea of what you said, where white really just doesn't have any pieces on the king side. And so if you can
Right.
stop white from castling with, like, for example, the bishop on g4 or the queen on g4, then it's going to be quite hard for white to defend.
Right, that is the right idea. The problem is that once again he will just take once, right? So he will take on g4 with the h pawn and then play knight c3 and long castle on the next move.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, giving up the knight is the right idea, but try to find a better way to do it. So try to create some play like immediately. Anybody? All right, so the point is h4. And once you see the idea of h4, you do see that it creates very much counterplay for the piece. So let's look at it in order. So bishop takes g4 doesn't really help White's cause here. So he might as well just take with the h pawn because the same thing happens as in the game basically. So let's look at the game and you'll see that yeah, exchanging those bishops doesn't really help. So the point is h takes g4, h takes g3, and now one thing you see is that if white trades here, now there's a threat of rook h1 and g2, and that pawn will queen. And if he tries to defend that idea, so he can't go king d1 because this once again just he can't go king f1 either because he will get mated after either rook g1, rook h1 and queen h4, or probably just queen h4 immediately. Both just mate in a few moves. So then it's pretty clear that he can't take on h1. Do you agree with that? On h8.
Yeah.
All right. So one thing he could try here, and is very, very strong, is castles. No, I'm kidding. So he will probably have to play rook g1 or rook f1, right? So rook f1. So let's look at both. Let's say he goes rook g1, because obviously just rook f1 will just run into g2 with tempo, and that once again probably just ends the game. So g2, rook here, queen h4 followed by queen f2 just ends the game on the spot. So that's why he has to go rook h1. And now that you've seen how powerful that idea is with g2 and rook queen h4, can you find a way to get that? Also, one idea, just to help you a bit, one idea after g2 here would also be that this just wins, right? Queen h1 instead of queen f2. In this instance, both wins, right? Queen f2 is just as powerful, but also this wins because you will just get another queen. So try to find something here that takes advantage of those ideas. Ideas?
I thought G2 might still be working, but I think it just runs into G5 unless I'm missing something.
Yeah, that is probably the case. G2, G5 isn't much. But if you could get if you could get G2 with tempo.
Yeah, maybe we can play like Queen H4 anyway, and then if Black tries to stop the pawn advancing with like Rook G2, play Queen H1 with the intention of playing G2.
That is true, but there's Bishop F1 there that just puts a hard stop to everything, right? So Rook
Bishop
G2, Queen
F1, G2 check. No?
Well, there's a Rook on G2, right?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
All right. William got it in the chat. I just saw it. So Rook H1 is the idea here. Point being that obviously he has to take, and now G2 with the idea of Queen H4 and Queen H1 just ends the game. So yeah, very nice game by Spassky, and against a really strong opponent too. This wasn't somebody that plays in the park. This was Larsen that was playing. So very nice. And because of that, actually, he tried to after H takes G3 in this position. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, just disconnected. So after Rook H1, Larsen actually tried Rook F1, just to not run into that. And Rook F1, yeah. Yeah, sorry, I'm just breaking up. How do you see the win here after Rook F1?
G2, King F2, Queen H4, King takes G2, Queen H2, right?
Yeah, that is one of them, but obviously you can just take the Rook, right, and Queen H4. So yeah, I'm not too sure why he didn't just resign after Rook H1, but anyways. All right. Well, this was kind of. Oh, sorry, I forgot. I have a request by our King and President Aloysius. He wanted me to show a tactic. So hold on just a second. It will take just a minute. So
yeah, this is true. Shall I talk through the game, or do you want to, Victor?
Well, I haven't looked through it, so I might as well. Let's see. So Aloysius is white here, and the game went d4.
So this is a bullet game. So as you can expect, there is lots of kind of funny moves going on. But I think overall, well, I actually think I as white played all right here. So we can look.
You are
at
white.
Example.
You are white, right?
I'm playing white. Yeah. So I played Queen's Gambit as per usual. Knight F3. You get an early Bishop G4 before E3, which is not always advisable, but not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, usually you have to be careful here as black when developing the bishop that Queen B3 is just very annoying. So yeah. bishop G4, bishop G5. Now there probably really is a threat of taking and playing queen B3. E6, stopping that. And knight E5, yeah, very nice play by our king and president. And this bishop is just very awkward here now. So he played bishop G5, H4, hoping that your opponent doesn't see your threats, but also
No, this is a bullet game, so you're allowed to get away with this kind of stuff.
yeah. So yeah, but also to be honest, I don't really see how he stops it. So probably just H6 is the only move here.
So he has to stop it by playing H6. So the threat is obviously to trap the bishop.
Yeah, G4 and
Like
H5.
forcing himself a flight square. But honestly, H4 is just a solid move anyway. If H6 comes in, you can go back to bishop F4 if you wanted and make sure you've got control of the G5 square. So there's probably nothing wrong with doing this in a real game anyway.
Yeah. So it's not a bad move. It's actually very nice because G4 is very hard to stop, and even after H6, as he said, bishop F4, you'll still probably at some point play G4, and whenever he goes to G6, you capture. So H4 is actually a very nice move. Bishop D6, played by black, not defending against the threat of G4. So Aloysius goes for it. Bishop G6.
Yeah, so this is just a free piece here if you guys see.
Yeah, this is a very free piece. H6, H6.
So
G6.
now H6 is the problem, thinking he's going to get his piece back. But of course, when you're being attacked like this, not only are you not winning the piece back, but you're massively weakening your king's position. If you look at black's light squares here, it's got absolutely nothing defending it, whereas I've got my pawns all over it. And it's very hard to defend.
Yeah, so yeah, very nice. And a couple of ways to win here. You can just take here if you don't want to complicate and then take the bishop. But also this one is just much stronger because his pieces are still pretty locked. He can't do much, and yeah, taking on F7 is a huge threat here. So H takes G6, castles. G takes F7, and now after king H7, there is this very nice and
No, wait, Victor. Wait, is this the puzzle move or is it the next move? Which is the puzzle move?
well, I mean, I'm not sure, but I think everybody sees the mate Aloysius.
I don't know about that. Well, it's a fun one anyway. You've been giving them hard ones all session.
Yeah, all right. So guys, there's only one. Okay, pay very close attention. So I know there's only one type of check in the position, but what else?
Queen E3.
Yes. So hint, it's not Rook H6. Who's doing that? Yeah, all right. So I mean, yeah, very nice. It does look nice, but it's not very hard to spend. So I'm sorry, Aloysius.
I think it's the prettiest mate that you've showed on the screen today.
All right, guys, do you see the mate here?
Well, obviously you play knight G6 again just to torture your opponent.
Oh, not really. Oh, Aloysius, actually, I didn't see the mate up until this point. I thought, to be honest, I thought Queen H7 is mate. Okay, but now I see. Okay, it is pretty. I'm sorry.
Oh, were you being serious?
I was being very serious. I thought Queen H7 is mate in this position. Like that's what like I wasn't understanding, like, why do you want me to show this? But yeah, now it does make sense.
So you've been mocking all this time.
Yeah, it's actually my fault. I'm sorry, Aloysius. Please don't fire me.
Just got the pace slightly.
All right. So ideas, guys.
You do queen h7, knight takes, and then you go knight g6.
Yeah, exactly. So very nice, very nice. That is indeed the mate. But also, what is the mate after bishop takes f6? If black plays queen takes f8.
Rook takes h6.
Yeah, exactly. So very nice game by Aloysius. Knight g6 mate, and also if bishop takes f6, which is also winning, but probably, to be honest, even a3 is winning in this position. So yeah, I think this is also very strong. But if not, yeah, queen h7 is a very nice mate. All right, I'm sorry for mocking you, Aloysius. This was a nice game. All right, for the rest of you, see you how are you with exams next week? Are you all able to attend, or do you want to postpone it for week 8, for week 9, I mean? Let me see in the chat. Niels can come. All right.
I can come.
All right, Marley can come. Mark, William.
Yeah, it's good for me.
All right, William, and also he can. All right. Well, then, guys, see you next week. And yeah, all the best. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Victor.
Thanks, Victor.
Thanks, Victor.
Cool. We have ended the live stream as well.
All right. Did you ever have any viewers? I saw a friend of mine was looking like.
But yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Who's the friend?
I mean, not really a friend. I know her. I see. It's like a little girl from Romania that plays chess. It's not so.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
It says
No,
50 people reached 14 engagements.
15
No.
people or 50?
50.
All right.
21 clicks and plays.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all right. We'll take that.
All right. Yeah, I literally thought queen h7 is mate. Like, I'm not even kidding. I was like, no, but I was like, what the hell does this guy want me to show? Like
Not only is there that nice mate in 2 here, but you found that alternative bishop f6, which is a forced mate in 2, right?
Yeah, that's also mate in 2. Is it? Yeah, I think it is. Well, I think a3 is mate in 3. So. No, like I'm not even joking. I literally think a3 is mate in 3. Let me check. So because I'm threatening rook to h6, and bishop f6. Oh no, so you can put your queen on g7. Sorry. So yeah, that breaks. Do you see it? What I mean?
No.
So after a3 in that position,
Yeah.
you have rook takes h6, g takes
Yeah.
h6, and bishop takes f6, and you have to play queen g7.
Yeah, I'd settle for the mate in 4 after queen g6, maybe.
Yeah. Anything works. Yeah. All right, but yeah, nice. And yeah, because like you showed me that, and I think I even told you like what's the point? Like it's like the most obvious moves lead to mate. Like,
I thought you were talking about queen c2 just being really obvious.
No. I was like, yeah, obviously just knight g6 and knight f8 and queen h7. I mean, you can give it to Dan for the intermediate class, for the beginners class. But no, this was nice. Yeah. All right. See you next week, Aloysius. Then.